ain't even gonna go that far, okay?
Okay.
Don't even give them an idea.
We're not salty. Yeah, I couldn't even walk. I could not walk.
It's called thugging it out, Sara.
No.
It's supposed to. It teaches your. It's like a way of reminding yourself what you worked hard for. It's a literal like reaction to the hard work you put in. So just live in it, embrace it, revel in the pain.
You guys, Amir's trying to give me advice on how to deal with the pain in my body.
Maybe you can take that, those flights of stairs as a positive.
Let me tell you.
They don't know what you're talking about.
Let me set the scene, okay? You know what? Matter of fact, DJ, turn my mic up.
What? Are you quiet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
Hello. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let me set the scene for you guys.
Okay. I know. We're just like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. This is how we actually set up, guys, in case if Amir keeps this in. Now you know.
I almost never keep it in, but it's whatever.
Sometimes they just need a little bit of a BTS moment,
whatever, okay.
I think they're interested. One day,
yeah.
You know what? Maybe we should include a vlog of the pre-setup and post takedown.
Do you guys even care about that? What post takedown? What do you mean post takedown?
Like after we're done recording, what happens?
What do you mean, the turning off the lights?
No, but you uploading the files and
okay,
come edit with me, that type of thing.
Okay.
Would you guys want to see that?
I was just being facetious.
I know. Let us know if you guys wanted to see that, and if so, maybe we'll consider that for the next episode.
Well, I don't know about the next episode.
Okay, maybe not next episode, but coming episodes,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's not like it only took me 5 months to come out with a second part of the vlog.
You know, you were a little busy, okay? Life was happening for you.
Exactly. It's not like I got married or whatever in between that time and made another vlog for my nikah and also had to fly to a different country.
He said that took precedence over Australia.
I'm just saying.
Do we have
vlog
a
is
part
finally out.
3 and 4 for that too?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, part 3 and 4 coming.
There's 3 or 4 hours of footage, man.
Inshallah in 2024, not 2025.
2025, you mean?
Oh, really?
Oh, wait.
It's going to take you another year?
You think I'm going to get it done this year?
Yeah, you still have 3 months.
Okay. Maybe now that it's getting cooler, people are staying inside more, I'll have more time to actually devote to making the next vlogs.
We're still going to hang out. Let's be real.
I know, exactly. But I'm more excited about the next vlog. Well, I was excited about this vlog too.
Yeah.
There's a lot that went into it, but the next one I feel like is outside of course, Abbas's nikah and everything, or not
fun.
His nikah, his wedding, the experiences we had afterwards as a group were really fun.
Oh, when we were at the house.
When we drove to the road and
yeah. You showed me that, right? I think you showed me a preview of it.
What do you mean?
Yes, I know. I know I was there. I mean you showed me the.
I don't think what happened?
Why am I itchy? Why?
Because you're just itchy. What are you talking about?
You guys, Amir, give me pre-workout. And look at my bottle.
It's supposed to be colored.
I thought it was a colorless.
No.
Potion.
Who has color? What? Am I a witch or a wizard now?
Anyways, the scooper was so big that I was like, I want an eighth of that. And he put half of it and he was laughing the whole time.
I was laughing because she was acting ridiculous to the amount. I literally put in how much you put when you salt your burger.
That is a lie.
Or your food. It's literally
Amir.
Salt Bay amount.
No, it wasn't. It was actually a lot.
No.
And you were laughing because it's going to affect me.
I was laughing just how she's reacting. Okay. Yeah, so you'll be fine. Oh my God, that was wet.
Yeah, I heard the phlegm in there. Water break.
But yeah, if you haven't checked out the vlog yet, check it out. We put it out today as we're recording. It's 9 p.m. now, so we put it up a few hours ago.
4 hours ago.
Yeah. And yeah, we put a lot of work into this one.
Mm-hmm.
I can always see room for improvement. I'm one of those people who the whole reason it also took this long is because I just was in my head too much and I was being a perfectionist, and eventually I just had to be okay, I just got to start putting my foot down and actually getting this thing out.
I loved the editing on this one, honestly, but the ending is so abrupt.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, I was like,
because you know
how do I end this?
part 1, you were like next on.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm obsessed. Like I literally watched it back today.
Yeah, I wanted to put that in there.
Yeah.
But as like a not reaction, like as a consequence of having to like put my foot down and be like, I have to get this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wanted to get it out the day we did,
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to do that. Like
that's
I would
fine.
So I was like, you know what? I gotta make the sacrifice here. Maybe I'll do it in the next one.
Yeah.
You know, there's always time. There's always room to improve. Okay, this is only our 4th vlog we've ever made. Is it our 5th vlog we've made?
Yeah, we have 5 vlogs total.
Do we?
Yeah, because we have
I don't even remember editing all those.
Because listen.
What?
As the admin of Cousin Connection, I separate our uploads into different playlists.
I saw that. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, that's how I put it. I put it into that playlist.
No, I did.
No, I mean like this latest one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I did. Anyway.
Okay, so go watch it. Sada, tell us why your legs are hurting today.
Okay, so let me set the scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2023. Okay. And my job, my company, I was at work in the office, and maybe they sent an email with a warning that a fire drill was going to take place. I don't know, but
you're not checking your email, Sana?
I clearly missed the email, and I had no idea. So to my surprise, the day that I wore heels to the office, like, who am I, first of all? Why am I wearing heels? But second,
what are you wearing heels?
I don't know. I was trying too hard last year.
Yeah.
So I wore heels and the fire alarm goes off and I'm in like full panic mode because it's like 2 p.m. I've already been on my feet all day.
Yeah, wasn't it like the talk of the office being like, hey, you ready for the fire alarm today?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Did
so I'm like,
maybe
this was like actually no, because usually they'll do one where it's like people know and then they'll do a surprise one. So I guess this was a surprise one, or maybe they emailed it and nobody saw it. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyways, I'm in panic mode because I'm like, I can't go down. I'm on the 15th floor. Imagine going 15 flights of stairs with heels on. So
hey,
I'm like,
get your steps in. That's all.
What do I? I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my friend and I'm like, hey, how bad do you think it is if I just hold my shoes in my hand and I just go down with socks? And she's like, of course, she was a fire warden.
Yeah.
So she's like, as a fire warden, now that you've informed me, I can't let you do that. And I was like,
no.
Okay, well, since this is a drill, can I be exempt from evacuating? She's like, no, you don't have an actual excuse. Like, unless you're...
I would have fell on foot. Like, oh, I'm famished. I'm dehydrated. I can't move. You must carry me down.
So you know what she did? She's like, I can give you one of my flats. She has shoes. She keeps all her shoes in the office. So I'm like, okay, what size are your feet? And she's an 8. For those that know me, I am a 6.5.
She has kids' feet.
So I'm like, you are an 8? I don't think that will fit me. She's like, no, they're pretty tight. Like, it should be fine. I'll put them on. I literally could stick my fist into the back of the shoe. So I was like, Miss Ma'am, this is a bigger hazard than the heels. I can't wear these. So you know what I did?
What?
I stuffed the front with tissue, thinking it was going to work. It didn't.
Does that not hurt even more?
No, but because I was trying to like close the gap.
Yeah, but I feel like that would hurt more because like you have something like pushing up against your toes and it's not like curved, it's more flat. But I guess your feet kind of do warp it a little bit.
Yeah. And so it was worse. I was literally like, I had so much anxiety. I was sweating, not because it was hot, but because I was so nervous about falling. The way I was gripping onto the friggin' railing slowed down everybody.
Oh, because everybody has to like hold on to the railing going down. You can't just like book it down.
You can book it down, but there's like hundreds of people, right? Everyone that's on the floors above us.
Is it every single floor in the building?
Yes, everyone has to evacuate. They don't do
floor by floor?
No.
So do you guys just call it a day after that? How many people are going up that elevator at the like
the escalator?
After like the alarm is off or
you just gotta wait. It's like 15 minutes to get back upstairs because everyone's waiting.
I'm calling it a day. Like, don't maybe come all the way down here and then we have to wait for every single person.
It's not even that we just go down to the lobby. What do you mean? We have to walk to City Hall.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you have to get far away from far enough away that if there was a fire, we're not in harm's way.
That makes no sense. Like, do it at like 3:30.
Well, yeah,
or 4 o'clock, whatever time people come out.
Well, then everyone would go down with their bags.
Okay, I see.
So again, like as I'm going down this like 15 flights of stairs with shoes that are too big for me.
Yeah.
I was really mad at myself. Like I was just like, you know, why don't I keep shoes in the office?
Yeah.
I still don't, by the way. So the year is now flash forward to 2024. And this time they do send out emails and they're like, yeah, you know, fire drill on this day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally I would just
Wait, this whole time you were telling a story of something that happened last year?
Yes, because I had PTSD from that, which is leads me to this
I didn't
story.
catch that part. This whole time I thought you were telling me about what happened the other day.
No, this happened in 2023.
Yeah.
I had to wear my friend's flats that were too big, and I was like anxious and sweaty and mad at myself. And yeah, that happened. This year, I got the email and I was prepared.
Yeah.
I wore sneakers.
Cute
sneakers, but I wore sneakers, and it was the talk of the office that day. Everyone's like, yeah, I wore my sneakers, whatever. Like they're talking about it. Anyway, we know it's happening on that day, but we don't know when. So I had to go into a touch point with one of my employees.
Yeah.
So
her employees, guys, you hear that?
No.
Okay, she is
my colleague.
Manager.
Let's say colleague. Okay, my colleague. Anyway, so
come on, girl boss. Wait down.
So normally I would just take the meeting on the same floor that I work on, but I don't know why. Today we felt inspired to go to the floor below us and use the fancy coffee machine. So I take my laptop with me so I can take my notes, and we sit in the wellness center with couches. It's cute. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
We're like 5 minutes into the meeting. I have my coffee that I didn't even take a sip of. It was a nice latte.
Yeah.
And of course the fire alarm goes off. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, do we have enough time to just quickly run upstairs so I can drop off my laptop? And she's like, I don't know. But then we also had these coffees, and I'm like, we can't take the coffee. It's a hazard because if it spills, it's going to make the stairs wet. So we left the coffees, and I had to take my laptop with me down 15 flights of stairs. So I'm clutching,
resistance.
literally clutching this laptop for dear life.
Yeah.
And I'm going down the stairs. And I'm fine. Like I wasn't even breaking a sweat. Like all the walking that I've been doing recently has just built my tolerance
cardio.
For yes. Yeah. Right. So I'm chilling, right? Tell me why it's like maybe like 4 more flights left. The way my legs were trembling, Amir. Like
really?
They were like trembling. But I felt fine like here up, but like my legs I thought they were gonna give out, that I had to hold on to the railing.
What? It going down?
Yeah. I don't know if it was like, remember last time I told you I had like vertigo when we were somewhere and there was a lot of stairs, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to fall. I didn't feel like I was going to fall, but my legs were like shaking bad.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. I walk it off. Like, you know, we walk outside, and then going back, like we took the elevator up, whatever, right? I was fine the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Friday morning, I wake up and I'm like, I tried to stand up to get out of my bed, and I literally fell back down, and I'm like, yo.
Wait, when was the last time you've done a resistance workout?
Like stairs?
Any type of resistance workout.
When I do my walks.
For your legs, I mean.
When I do my walks, like there's like minor uphill.
No, resistance workout. I mean like pushing some weight.
With my legs?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I think we know the culprit.
So now I'm like, oh my God, my legs hurt. And as the day, you know how it is when you do like day, like the next day.
Goes,
the pain was so bad. We also had a wedding yesterday, and then add heels to that. It's just a recipe for disaster. By the time I got home, I literally had to crawl up the stairs. That's how bad my legs are. And you know when it like, does this ever happen where your leg like stiffs up? Like you can't relax your muscles?
Yeah.
That happened to me.
Sara, we're at the age where we can't just do physical activity and not do pre and post stretching. Okay.
I know. I realized that. I'm like, damn, I should have stretched. I should have.
I think what you just went through is like that thing that everybody goes through when they're hitting like their 30s, like what do you call it? Yeah, they're early and almost mid 30s where they realize their body like just, you can't just like get up and go anymore. Like you actually have to do some type of recovery before and after.
And you still
or
get
even after.
Because like, damn, like see, even this
I don't even know if it's charged, but did you do any stretching afterwards? See, I'm telling you, man.
The fact that I can sit like this.
I learned it the hard way too. You
don't even stretch.
No, now I stretch.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't stretching for a while, and I paid the price, but you know, you learn. I feel like all the people who are old enough to listen to this still be like, oh, they don't even know yet.
Yeah.
It's like some next thing I don't know
We're
about.
not even at our mid 30s. We're still early 30s.
Yeah, but you know.
crazy
blink,
that we're even saying that.
Blink and just saying it might be there. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's I bet you that's just because of like stretching and like that's why I always tell people like incorporate some type of resistance training in your workouts.
I know.
In life in general, because it helps with everything. It helps with just being able to do tasks without feeling like you're gonna die the next day. It helps you. It helps with like when you get older, building up bone density, because resistance training builds up bone density. So if you trip and fall, you don't end up turning into pieces of Lego,
like a broken hip.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's actually a thing that happens. Like the reason you hear of older people breaking hips and like femurs and all these other things so easily from just falling is because resistance training is really kind of a new concept.
Is it?
It sort of like for something that's prescribed for everyone, like something that is more of a necessity over just something you could do for your own leisure, like because you feel like you want to build some muscle or something. Like now I feel like society is getting to the stage, like I mentioned we missed a week, guys. Like I mentioned 2 weeks ago, where like it's starting to become as important as everything else you do in your life.
Yeah, no.
Especially as we move towards more of a sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah. No, you know what? You're right. Like I think the walks that I do, there's not enough uphill. Like if it was like a constant uphill, then the stairs would have been nothing. Yeah,
that's where like you got to start getting creative and get you know how you have your treadmill.
Yeah,
like just get some boxes and stick it on top of the boxes. I wouldn't trust that. You gotta try some new things, man.
No,
where are you gonna fall? 2 inches onto the floor?
Well, no, I was thinking getting like ankle weights. Because now I don't do my walks indoors. I do them outside. Yeah,
you do them outside. But you're gonna have to go back indoors soon, right?
I'm actually gonna push myself.
Or you're gonna be like me and like trudging through the snow?
Yeah, but I probably have to get winter.
Get like waterproof shoes. You can get like from a certain company that makes waterproof shoes. You can get those shoes.
They don't want to sponsor.
Yeah, they're like talk to the hand. But they have certain shoes that are good, made specifically for winter.
The grip is nice too.
Yeah, the grip is nice. They're made for like hiking and winter, and they're waterproof.
Okay.
But I'm sure you can find another company that also makes waterproof boots. Okay.
If you have
they're not the only one out there.
Or know a company that has waterproof shoes that doesn't start with a V.
Yeah, we're even gonna go that far. Okay. Don't even give them an ideas.
We're not salty.
Hey. It's almost like we grew up together.
I know. What was that? I don't know. I guess it's a cousin connection.
Oh my god. But yeah, so like I mentioned, we did miss a week. Okay.
We did. To be fair, I was dying last week. Was that the reason? No, I recorded when I was.
We had like wedding stuff and.
Oh yeah.
Celebrations and just different stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
So we just couldn't make time for it. Because life sometimes just happens, guys. Okay.
It does.
It's gonna be the case.
And it's gonna happen again next week, actually. But
maybe not.
No, you're gonna bring it?
Maybe I could bring it. Why not?
You guys know already. Cousin Connection is international at this point. We record anywhere we go.
We literally recorded in Ethiopia.
I feel like what's that one song? I merely rock on any block. That's us.
I record a pod on any blog. I don't know.
That's literally us though. But
okay. So we missed a week, and a lot has happened.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, a lot of crazy things have happened in the past few weeks. The earliest thing, the thing that we actually forgot to mention, but it was happening literally as we were recording.
Yes, I noticed that. I realized we forgot to mention it.
Yeah, like there was a case of Marcellus Williams. Unfortunately, because we were kind of late to it, or we didn't mention it then, there was already a campaign out to save him from death row, and everybody was really pushing in this. There was like literally millions of petitions being made, and people were physically walking into the offices of the attorney generals to like tell him to stop, and the governor, and tell him like, hey, this guy clearly didn't do it, or like he needs a retrial, blah blah blah. And they're like, nah, we're not gonna do nothing, we're just gonna keep going forward with this. And unfortunately he did get executed, and a lot of people felt really like disempowered because of that, because they're like, there was clearly so much of a push to free this man, and there was so much evidence showing that he had nothing to do with this case. Like, I believe the 2 eyewitnesses that came up ended up saying, like, retracting their statements and saying that we were just paid to do that to get lesser sentences. Yeah, exactly. Like, they
were paid.
Yeah, they said like, or they were compensated by saying like they would be given less sentences or something like that.
So was he just targeted because?
Yeah, because I don't know why specifically they chose him.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a lineup situation. I can't remember exactly what how they got him, or why they specifically arrested him. But yeah, there was no evidence left. And I believe the one piece of evidence they still had, which was the actual knife used in the murder, it was basically mishandled. So they couldn't even use it anymore. But then they were saying, because we can't use that anymore, it doesn't necessarily clear him, because now it could technically be him, because now there's no murder weapon. Like, they're basically like playing some weird mind games with the whole situation to try and keep him to keep him in there. And eventually, fortunately, they did execute him for that. But one thing, at least from my perspective, now that everybody's like everyone who's listening probably already knows about the story. The moment I saw him, one thing to mention, the moment I saw him, just bring it a bit lighter, I knew the man was Muslim.
How?
I immediately knew.
Because you saw the salat mark?
Yes. Everyone knows, like, and you knew that he was a dedicated Muslim too, like a devout Muslim too. And most likely even a pious one, because of the fact that he had the marking on his forehead.
I think it's called sajda. You know,
possibly, yeah, because you get it in the sujood, right?
Yeah.
So he had that on his head, and I didn't look into it just yet. When I saw that, I just knew. And the beard, he had the beard. I know that these are things that like typically people say like aren't exactly indicators of being a Muslim, but if you're a Muslim, you kind of automatically pick up on these things, and they are like the stereotypical things that you see. And then when his last statement came out,
I literally have it here. Like,
oh yeah, you can read that out. Well, he came out with the last statement, and it's just one line. What does it say?
All praise be to Allah in every situation! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation.
Yeah, and that's honestly like the best way you can go out.
It's a reminder.
And I feel like I wouldn't say relieved, but I felt a little. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Okay, this is going to be kind of controversial, but I felt a little bit lighter about the situation, because knowing that he was at peace at the time, and knowing that this life is not the end, and Allah will, I forget what the actual line is, but like, he will give you what's best for you, right? And I believe he even said it in a video where he's like, if death is better for me, then give me death, right? So in this case, it was written for him to die in this manner, but it's not the end for him, and he knew that himself clearly from what he was writing there. Like, this is, at the end of the day, like, it's not like he lost, if you think about that. Like, technically, in a sense, you could say he lost because he wasn't cleared of his name, but as a Muslim, you're always a winner. So I believe that's one positive you can take away from the situation if you're a Muslim listening to this, and some can bring some levity to the situation. Of course, it's horrible that it still happened, and the fact that this isn't a unique case. This is something that's happening across America all the time. I can almost say like there are thousands of people out there who are currently either being just held in jail or on death row, who the evidence against them is very shoddy. Like, even if there is evidence, sometimes they're, like in this case, there's not even any evidence proving that he's there. But even if they said they did have any evidence, it's very shoddy, and like it doesn't really hold up in the public opinion, or what do they call it? The public court of opinion. Yeah. Maybe in a real court they might think that it holds up, but in a public court of opinion you can clearly see that it doesn't really hold up. And that was a similar situation that we saw here.
Yeah, I know I remember we covered another story like this too, maybe like last year. I remember. And but that guy was actually cleared, I believe. I forget his name specifically. I know I have a picture. Yeah, I'm really bad with names. I have the picture in my head. He was wearing the white kofia. Yeah. What was the name? I can't remember now. Well, I'll you know what? I'll insert a card here when I find it when we upload this episode, if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, everything that you said about this life not being the final destination, I think because you know what? I was actually watching this documentary called Daughters on Netflix. Did I tell you to watch this? I feel like I told you to watch this, and I don't think you did, but watch it.
I'm gonna say you didn't tell me.
I did. I did tell you.
I watch all your suggestions, Sara.
No, you don't. You didn't watch When They See Us.
Oh no, I told you I specifically will not watch that one.
Okay, watch Daughter.
What is it about?
So, it's basically about this program that's set in place for men that are in jail who have daughters. I told you about this, right?
The father-daughter dance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, I was very surprised to see that a lot of the men were Muslim. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it, and I think I watched another documentary where people were talking about why there's such a high rate of inmates that embrace Islam when they are in jail. And I think because when you're in jail, you have a lot of time to reflect on your life, and you are constantly reading, and a lot of people use their time to be as productive as possible, whether it's improving their physical health or mental health, learning, all that kind of stuff. And so people eventually just find the truth in Islam. And I think that for Marcellus, like, he was probably a devout Muslim. Allahu Alam. I don't really know his, like, the ins and outs of his life, obviously, but for his final statement to be what it was. Yeah. Sometimes when you, like, that's just a true reflection of having tawakkul, like truly having full faith in God and just trusting the plan and just letting things happen the way that they're meant to, and just remembering, like, this isn't the final destination. So even if, for those that are listening to this, I think for me it was like a reminder that even if things aren't going your way in this life, or you just feel like it's misfortune after misfortune, you should never feel that type of, like, that disparity, like, oh, woe is me, or like, why me all the time.
I feel like that's also maybe a big reason why there are a lot of conversions in jail, is because Islam can give you that hope, and that, like, solace to and reassurance, the afterlife, right? Yeah. Not only that, in this life as well, right? Yeah. Because then you start to realize, okay, if this is what's good for me, there's that, I forget if I ever made this case myself or mentioned it, but, like, people are saying, maybe sometimes being here is a way of Allah protecting me from a worse place I might have been if I was outside, or a situation I might have gotten myself into if I was outside. Not saying that jail is good in general. I don't know if a lot of times if it's even the best course of, like, rehabilitation, because that's what they say it's supposed to do. But
the jail systems are very corrupt.
It's clearly not working. But yeah, it gives you patience in, like, moments where you feel like nothing is going your way, or you feel like, why is this happening to me? It gives you, like, those answers. Yeah. And I I remember reading his final statement, and I think there was, like, an email or something that he wrote too, right? Did he?
I could have sworn I've seen something. I can't find it. I tried to Google it, but his final statement, like, hit me. It was, like, such a big reminder, because I feel like you guys know by now, I kind of tend to be dramatic sometimes, a little bit here and there.
Just a tad bit.
Just a tad. And sometimes I have to remind myself, like, girl, calm the F down. It's really not that serious. But even when I always mess this word up, but is it catastrophize or catastrophize? Catastrophize.
Now that you said it, it's like those things where I know what it is, but, like, because you said it now, I can't remember what it is.
I'm gonna Google it.
Catastrophize? I think it's catastrophize.
I think it's catastrophize.
Because if it's catastrophe,
it is catastrophize.
Yeah.
When I catastrophize, that doesn't sound right. Catastrophize sounds right.
No, catastrophize. Because the catastrophe is a word, so
it's not catastrophe.
So to, like,
catastrophe.
To catastrophize something. We're thinking about this too long, Sara. Continue.
Anyways, when I'm in those moments of, like, catastrophizing a situation, I have to always bring myself back to reality and, remind myself from that type of standpoint of, like, just trusting God. Like, not to make this a religious thing, but it's really just, like, as we've said it before, Islam is our way of life. It literally is our guiding point and how we navigate through this world. And so for me, like, sometimes I have to just remember, like, no, stop spiraling in this thought process. Like, calm down. This is just like trust God's plan, literally.
Yeah. But yeah, so just make sure to pray for Marcellus and his family. May Allah grant him a high place in Jannah, and
Ameen.
Forgive all his sins, and just let's hope that this type of case will be an example, or maybe kind of like a catalyst for more people being freed and cleared of their names, because there's a long list of people who have this similar situation, and no matter who they are, they all deserve a fair trial and a fair shake. And I don't think this should be the last person this happens to. And hopefully all of the people who were gathered and like motivated to try and clear his name will take that energy and start putting it towards other people who also need help. I'm sure there are other programs. I forget what the names of the programs are now. Maybe I'll put them up if I can find them, that actually focus specifically on cases like this. I believe even like, ironically enough, what's her name? Kim Kardashian has something. I don't know what the name of an organization or some type of like.
Is it a nonprofit?
A nonprofit,
like activist group type of thing.
Yeah, where she does this.
Yeah, she does advocate for people who have been wrongfully convicted.
Yeah.
Honestly, mostly like ones that are on like death row or something like that too. I think right now she's active. She's speaking up about those brothers that have that Netflix documentary.
Oh yeah, I saw that on
I forgot their
Netflix.
name.
I forget the name of it too. We're really bad at putting up names. We should start like writing things down ahead of time. We don't know we're even gonna reference it, but yeah. But yeah, so check out those.
The Mendez brothers.
Yes, the Mendez brothers.
Yeah.
Who, people are saying it's kind of like iffy on what their motivations were and all that stuff. There's a lot of controversy around the Netflix special where they tried to like insert some type of weird and incestuous relationship with them, and they're like, that was definitely not a thing. But how Netflix is, man, they're trying to like, they got the devil working behind their walls.
yeah.
So but yeah, so next on the docket, or the next thing that what
I was just prompting you.
But yeah, so the next thing that's also been going on and basically just popped off almost out of nowhere. Like, I think there was always like it was brewing. It was being teased a little bit, and people were joking about like World War III, whatever. But finally, there was first the phone situation, or the pager situation.
The pager, yeah. Did we talk about that? We did, right?
Yeah, I think we mentioned. I can't remember if we mentioned it. Maybe we did.
Yeah.
But there was that first situation where essentially they, Israel, like, I don't know how they did it, but they inserted bombs into a bunch of pagers.
Yeah.
And then these pagers were shipped out by the original makers of them to Hezbollah, and they dispersed it to like, just people within the areas that they were working in. And they just kind of like, Israel would just press a button and exploded all of them. They didn't care who they hurt. They didn't care who had them at the time. They had no line of sight on who was currently holding these things. And you saw videos of people like in grocery stores. You saw people driving their cars, like people just standing around in shops and stuff, and just literally like their legs.
That's so messed
up.
There's.
I don't even want to mention the things that were happening.
Yeah.
There were kids who were killed from it as well. And then after that, actually, when they were grieving these people who passed away and like going to the funerals, they then activated bombs inside of walkie-talkies, which also killed and hurt and injured people who were at the currently mourning the people who were just killed from the previous one, right? And then after that, they were like, okay, mask off. They started just bombing like southern Lebanon, right? And everybody was kind of like, wait, is it happening? Like, is it actually happening? Is this full out war? And of course, Western media is trying to downplay everything. They're saying like, nah, they're just, they're not raiding, or they're not invading. They're just raiding, or like they're not invading. They're just doing an operation or whatever, right? But clearly they're just invading southern Lebanon, which actually exposed me to some history that I didn't know about, where I didn't know that I think it was up until 2000 or 2006 that Israel actually had control of southern Lebanon.
Really?
They were occupying southern Lebanon for a long period of time, and they only like came out recently. It's not 2006, not really recent, but like within this century or this
18 years ago.
Yeah, 18 years ago. Only 18 years ago is when they pulled out and gave back the land in a way. I don't know, because it's kind of like is Hezbollah controlled area. But since then, it's been like a very contentious area. There's supposed to be like a no fight zone, or like a green zone essentially, where no one's allowed to kind of claim that area of land. And I believe they said that Hezbollah wasn't like honoring that, and that was their reason for going in and sending these bombs. But at the end of the day, they're innocent people who are being hurt here.
They ended up killing the leader.
Yeah, they ended up, exactly. I think his name was Nasrallah.
Yeah, Hassan Nasrallah.
Hassan Nasrallah. And that set off a lot of alarm bells for all across the world, to the point that actually Iran retaliated by sending like almost 200 rockets over to Israel and actually hitting certain spots, right? So I thought at that point, like, you know, both of them have mask off. Like, this is going to go on to full out war, but things kind of cooled down after that. It's almost like a tit for tat kind of situation, where like they do something and they try to attack back. But at the end, like, there's still innocent people who are getting caught in the crossfire here. Yeah,
and they're not just, like, Israel is not just bombing Lebanon. They're also bombing Yemen and Syria and, of course, still Palestine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, like, who knows, right? Maybe Israel is pressuring the United States for support. But the United States knows that if they, you know, engage and they try, I'm pretty sure Russia's then going to join. And then it's a full-blown world war.
Yeah, I don't know. Was Russia even in there? They've already been occupied with another situation.
They have, but I think, like, because they're not necessarily, like, if they get an opportunity, I'm sure they would jump in.
What if, like, because they know Russia's like occupied with Ukraine, like they're like, we can kind of do whatever we want in these regions that are supposed to be backed by the Russians, because they're already preoccupied. It's not like they have any extra resources to be sending out to us at this moment, because they're getting their butts kicked out there, at least apparently from what the news is saying. And I don't know how much you can trust the news, but that's what the situation is currently, at least as we're being told is. So
I don't know.
Maybe like it's like a weird, like, a global conspiracy.
All the communist countries might just come together to support, like, anyone that's against the states. Who knows? Maybe like North Korea and China. I don't know. They might just all jump in.
North Korea is a whole other basket case. Okay.
I know, but I'm just saying, like this is how world war starts.
They don't care what's going on outside of their borders.
Did you see those like random clips that have been released on TikTok? Do you got that too?
I got that too.
That's weird. Like, a hidden footage.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure I've seen these videos like a while ago.
And everyone in the comments was like, yo, what year is this?
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't tell.
Yeah. It could be 2024. It could be 2016, 2008. Who knows?
Yeah. Do they go by a different year in North Korea? I don't know. Yeah, because I feel like their type of country, like if Ethiopia goes by its own year, like North Korea would definitely probably go by its own year.
But that's because of the calendar, but I don't know if they have their own calendar.
I feel like they would have, because for them, they look at their leaders as almost like a messiah, like they believe that they can do miracles and like have done. I think there's like a whole thing where they said like Kim Jong-un did like he did an 18 hole course with 18 shots, so basically he got a hole in one in each one. And like he got like a perfect like 300 bowling game, which basically you got all 10 pins every 10 times in a row. If that makes sense.
And do we believe that?
No, it's definitely not. But like that's how they're brainwashed. They brainwashed to believe that these guys can actually perform miracles and are like superhuman. But yeah, so that's the side note.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that like, do I think a world war will break out? I think that's on a lot of people's mind. But there's also elections are coming up, and so part of me is like,
I think that's also
like a
why
distraction.
Well, no, that I don't think. Well, essentially, like. The reason that I feel like it's not being covered by media at the moment right now, Well, there's a lot of reasons, but mainly because also like they know they don't want to ruffle any feathers when it comes to the election game, right? Because this type of situation can really sway a lot of people's opinions. So like, let's just not mention it, not let people know that we're sending billions of dollars here, or even mention it. Because what?
Funny you say that.
I know what you're about to mention. Yeah, go ahead.
Because as you guys know, there are a lot of hurricanes, or is it Hurricane Helena, I think it's called?
Yeah.
That like basically destroyed not only was it Florida, somewhere in Florida
and like I think South Carolina.
Yeah, that region. And I believe their government said that each person that was affected is going to get $750.
No, someone did the math, and they're like, I think FEMA, which is the disaster response branch of the government, whatever, has like a $20 billion budget.
Meanwhile, they're sending $850
$1
billion to Israel. Like, why do they need so much money?
They said if they were like to divide that's not how it works. But like if they were to divide it by the populations in those states that were affected, it would be like $700 per person. But if you take the amount of money that was sent to Israel and divide that by the amount of people who were there, each person would have like $7,200. Yeah, so it shows you the disparity in how much they really care about their own people versus a country that they really should have no relation to.
I think the United States,
outside of it being like a proxy base for them.
The United States is owned by Israel, in my opinion.
Well, it's more of a proxy because for them, having that, I've mentioned this before, having that region gives them the ability to like control the regions around it, and because for them, peace essentially means stability. So if they can have control of, if they have one country inside there that can keep the other ones in check, then they can keep them stable. Their stability is like essentially knowing no one attacking them, like having no one being able to build up enough strength to actually form some type of coalition or some type of like organization that can start making demands for them. As long as those countries are weak, they can't make demands, so they can continue stripping them of their resources and putting sanctions on them and basically bullying them into giving them what they want, which is like oil and resources. America. Yeah, so that's why Israel has so much control over it, because over America, because they know that they absolutely need them. So there's nothing they can do that they would immediately like disavow. They could literally on live TV have like Netanyahu like doing something to an innocent person. I won't even go that far, but let's say doing something to an innocent person live on TV, and they'll find some way of twisting it, or they'll do that whole thing where they say, this is disturbing. We'll go and speak to them and ask them about this, and we'll perform an investigation. And then they follow up a couple weeks later, like, okay, what's going on in the investigation? Like, we are still currently doing this investigation. is being handled internally. We have come to a conclusion, but we are not at privy to tell this to the public or allowed to, because of like confidentiality. Exactly. So they can brush anything under the rug just by doing some type of word gymnastics. But that's just how global politics works, right? It's my thing that I always try and focus on is the fact that innocent people are always getting hurt in the middle of this, and it's hard to find a solution. But we can always go back to what I mentioned earlier with like at the end of the day, you have to rely on Allah, and you have to like understand, okay, we don't understand why this is happening. We don't understand why this is all going on and how some people get hurt. We can just put our trust in Allah and, continue to have patience in this situation and just pray that it all leads to something more positive. And one way to kind of look at it in a positive light, because it can be really hard, especially in times like this, is that a lot of the moves that Israel is making right now are mainly out of desperation. I feel like a lot of them are being made out of desperation, and the country itself is kind of eating itself from the inside out as well. Because I recently watched a video. Do you know Channel 5 News? It's a channel. Have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called All Gas No Breaks? It was like a tall dude. He always wore like an oversized light brown suit, and he would go to like different events going on within America, where he either went to like the riots going on, the BLM riots, or he'd go to like a Trump rally, he'll go to a Democratic rally, Republican rally. He'll go to different rallies. He'll even go to like Mardi Gras and like interview people on the streets. But he actually has, now that he's expanded, first off, he lost all national breaks, but then it pushed him to like expand and actually do some real reporting to the point where recently he's been like doing stuff on the ground. Like he's been investigating the stuff going on at the border. He's been investigating like the situation where they were saying like gangs were coming into like Springfield, Ohio, whatever. I can't remember what the situation. I don't know if it's Springfield, Ohio. I think I'm mixing that with a different city because that's a whole Haitian situation. That was really dumb. But he's investigating all these stories that are like blown out of the water and like no one really knows what's really going on. He goes to the streets and talks to those people to actually get the real information and find out, because everything today is a conspiracy online. You never know who's telling you the truth. You can't really tell what's going on, but he's someone you can kind of trust, or at least I feel like I can trust. I say all that to get to, he recently had a correspondent in actually Israel who was covering the protests that were happening in there against Netanyahu, right? And it was interesting to get the people who actually live there, their perspective, right? Because it can be easy to like villainize every single person there,
but that's
right?
not right either.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, there are still a lot of young people who live there, and there are many examples, and even in this video, of young people who understand that this is a Zionist project and do not agree with it, but there's nothing much they can do because they're currently teenagers, or they don't have money, or it's not like they can leave. It's like where do they go? Can they get a visa? What's the situation? What do you do when you live in a country like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was interesting to get their perspective, but you do also get the perspective of the people who are kind of like, they understand the situation, they hate what's going on, they want the ceasefire and everything. A lot of their reasons for the ceasefire you don't really agree with, because for them they're purely thinking of like just the hostages or whatever. But then you can also understand their perspective because they're like, this was my sister, this is my friend, this is someone I grew up with, right? For them, they just, before all of this was popping off like a year ago, like there wasn't really much talk about how we want to dismantle the whole country in itself, right? Sure, like we were kind of, there were talks of that within our communities because we're a little bit more closely connected to it, because there are a lot of Muslims who are being affected by the whole situation in that region in Palestine. But these people, they never really had a reason to look into it because they just, it's like if you live in America and you're currently living on like native land, native owned land that the government illegally built some settlements on, but those natives have been fighting for their land back for 100 years, but you're born 20 years ago. So like you are like, okay, what do I do? My family lives here. It's like, but it was all to say that like it was a very interesting perspective on the whole situation. I'm
gonna look that up.
And after. To go back to the desperation, he has almost no support. Netanyahu has almost no support. To the point that he was desperate enough to ally himself with the very, very far right. Essentially, think about it. If you're connected back to America, it would be like the Democrats like aligning themselves. Or no, it would be like, let's say in Canada, it would be like the Liberals aligning themselves with the most extreme conservatives in the Conservative Party.
It goes against
to hold enough seats in the House, because their government works very similar to ours, to hold enough seats so that they can continue to have the confidence of the majority of the House to stay in power, right? Because it's like Canada, where they have multiple parties and they can build coalitions and stuff. How like the Liberals had the NDPs for a long time, but then the NDPs said we no longer support the Liberals, so they had the non-confidence vote recently. I don't know if you guys know about that in Canada. You don't know about that if you haven't been paying attention to politics in Canada. The NDPs and the Liberals, because the Liberals, when they in the last election, they lost a lot of seats to the point where they no longer had a majority in the House. So they essentially, there could be an election at any point to take power away from them. So they aligned themselves with the NDP party so they could have enough seats in the House to stay in power, to continue to be the leaders of the House. I don't know if the House is the right word I'm using there, but recently NDPs were like, you know what, they haven't been listening to us, they haven't been doing the things that we want them to do, so we're no longer gonna vote, like align ourselves with them, and like, you know, essentially we won't give them the majority anymore. We won't allow them to have the majority anymore.
Yeah.
So then there was a non-confidence vote, which basically means that if they don't get enough votes in favor of them, then it creates triggers an election.
Oh.
And people thought, this might be NDP said they were pulling out from supporting the Liberal Party, but that was avoided because I have a feeling that a lot of the other parties, a lot of the more liberal parties, saw that if there was an election now, like the Conservatives would definitely win, just due to the sentiment in the air and like how extreme things have gotten.
Yeah.
Like in America alone, Canada is almost in a similar situation. So they're like, we're gonna like continue let you guys run the show for now. But when things cool down in a few years, let's see if the Democrats get in, this extremism kind of chills out for a bit, because that's how it usually happens.
Yeah.
Then we might, eventually we'll have an election. But
yeah.
So what was I saying? Sorry, I'm getting on like many tangents here.
You are, but I'm listening.
I'm sorry. Okay, people are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But to go all the way back to the fact that this is desperation, is because the only reason they moved into a new region, which is southern Lebanon, is because like it's that whole thing of you can't really have an election when you're in the middle of war, right?
Yeah.
So if you're actively fighting, if you're still fighting, because the moment that fighting stops, all these protests that are happening will actually transform into real elections. And I feel like these extremists will lose their power, and they know this, so they're going to continue to push for more and more war. And there's only so far that can go until the populace essentially just kind of like stop supporting, or just there's no more people to hold up the government or hold up the country, because now that there are bombs falling in actual Israel, thousands, even maybe millions of people, well, I think actually millions of people have been leaving the country.
Yeah.
Businesses have been shut down. Investments have been pulled out.
I'm surprised their economy hasn't completely failed.
It is collapsing and it is failing.
Yeah.
So, and I mentioned that a few weeks ago, and it's not getting any better. And this situation is not going to make it any better, because now the people are actually, like, it's not only before when we were speaking about Gaza, and Gaza is also still currently being attacked, and they're still getting bombed every other day or every day now. But it's now the people in Israel are not like sitting high and pretty in their house or whatever. They actually are almost feeling some of that fear that they've been imposing on other countries,
as they should.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks that a lot of them are innocent people, but
and it's not like they're not fighting. They are fighting to try and kick out the government. Sure, some of their motivations we may not agree with.
Yeah, but at least it's a common goal.
Yeah, it's like the enemy. What is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So that can bring some more levity to. Is that levity? No, it can bring you some more solace, or like some more what's the word I'm looking for?
Not ease, comfort.
Yeah, and that can bring you a little bit more comfort to the whole situation, and hopefully make you understand that this is more of like a last-ditch effort and all these things that they're doing, and more of something that we get, and less of something that we're going to see for a long time, because there's only so far they can go. There's only so far that the funding can go and how much they can use, because a lot of this stuff, all the money and stuff they can give, there's only you can give them all the money.
Yeah.
But if nothing is coming in, like how much can they really use that, right?
Yeah. It's just sad to see what they're doing to Lebanon. Like, really, going after a country and destroying. Like, I think now there's like at least 1 million people that have been displaced.
Yeah.
Thousands that have already been killed. Like, it's very sad to see. And I know, like, we have a lot of Lebanese friends.
Yeah, we grew up around a lot of Lebanese people, so.
And so, like, seeing their stories of, like, not knowing if they're able to get a hold of some of their family members is actually, like, terrifying. Like, it's, tragedy is still tragedy, whether you know someone or not. But, like, I guess it just, like, hits you different when it's people that you know and it's, like, their loved ones. Because then I've done this before, but, like, when you put it into perspective, I'm like, what if something happened to, like, in Ethiopia and we can't get a hold of our family, and like that fear.
And that has been like a fear in our past. Of course, not to this degree,
Mm-hmm.
but there have been like rumblings of situations in our country or our home country
Mm-hmm.
where we've been like, should we be concerned? Like, and usually they try and say, oh no, don't worry, whatever, right? Because it's never reached that level.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something we can kind of a little bit relate to.
Yeah.
And actually, one thing to mention about Eastern Africa, I need to look into the situation more, but I believe there was an update on the situation in Sudan, and I need to look that up. Actually, let me look it up right now. Okay, so I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that the Sudanese army, the government's army, actually took back the capital, which was Khartoum. And the only reason I mentioned this, ironically enough, is because like of memes on TikTok. Is because there were a lot of like Sudanese people who are posting about like, you know, I'm ready to buy my plane ticket to go back to the motherland. Like people were saying like, I'm immediately going there to visit family and friends because so I believe the RSF had control over that city for a long time. It was basically cutting off like connections between the northern and southern part of that region, and they were finally able to take it over. And clearly, like a lot of people are just relieved that they're able to get it back, and that there's some like calmness brought back to that area and that region, because the capital of your city, right? Usually those are the last place that you would think that's reached or that's taken over. But they're able to get it back. That's all that I have at the moment. From what I see on TikTok, because it's all from TikTok, this looks like it's a very positive thing. And if people seem like see it as something like where it gives them enough reason to go back, and they feel like it's safe enough to go back, I'm going to say that's a positive thing. So I'm going to continue to pray for the people of Sudan.
Correct us if we're wrong.
Correct us if we're wrong. I'm going to also pray for the people of Lebanon, people of Gaza, Yemen, and all the other regions, Syria. Yemen, Congo, Syria, all the regions that are currently just in turmoil essentially, right?
Yeah.
In instability, which is exactly what, like I mentioned earlier, which is exactly what the Western countries want. Like I mentioned how they want stability for themselves, but they do that by creating instability in those regions. Yeah. Because when everybody's like focused on whatever's conflict is going on in that region, then they don't see the other hand who's reaching for the resources under them, right? So it's a lot of global corruption and politics in this situation. We tried to cover some of it, but we're just two people who just don't want innocent people getting hurt. Exactly. And we're going to continue to pray for those people. Yeah. And I'm always going to try and bring some type of like silver lining to the situation, because I always try and look at the silver lining of a situation. Sure, it's not my way of trying to like avoid even addressing situation or minimizing it. Yeah. But it can help in those feelings or those times where you feel despair and you feel like there's like nothing good is going on in the world, right? Because it can feel like that sometimes, but
patience will always lead to, you know, whenever you're inflicted with hardships, calamities, being patient throughout that and remembering God throughout those difficult times will only serve you in your hereafter, whether it's the, you know, removal of sins or erasing of sins or increasing in your status, you know? So really, as tough as it may seem, just remember to try and be patient when you're facing adversities. Remember Allah, obey Allah. Don't use your hardships as an excuse to disobey God, and try to be your best in terms of being like your Islam. Try hard. I feel like, you know, when you are facing hardships, that's the best time to turn back to God and really just devote yourself to Islam. And you know what, when you do that, it actually makes it easier for you to get through what you're going through. So
okay guys, we're gonna leave you with that. Hopefully not too much of a downer, but you know, we brought some silver lining situations so it's not super down. If you liked what you heard or what you saw today, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Also, we have some exciting news coming up soon. It's a secret, so we're not gonna tell you yet, but
I didn't know about this, but yeah,
you do.
I do? Okay. But yeah, to hear about that, subscribe to the channel, Follow us on all the platforms. Cousin
Yeah.
Connection Pod. Pray for all the people we've spoken about today.
Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.